Today we're looking at linear function word problems. Number 1. In a political science class, test scores were determined to be 20 times the number of hours H the student studied plus 3. Which of the following functions best describes a student's test score depending on the number of hours H that the student studied? So 20 multiplied by H plus 3. That would be D. Number 2. A 300-room hotel collects $75 per, that's a key word there, per, occupied room, and does not collect any money for vacant rooms. Which of the following functions best represents how many dollars D the hotel generates if there are V vacant rooms in the hotel? So V represents the number of vacant rooms, and we know the total possible is 300. So how many rooms are then occupied? Well, the total, 300, minus the number that are vacant. That tells us how many are occupied. And we are going to collect $75 per occupied room, so we will multiply this entire thing by 75. And we see that A is the best answer. Number 3. Vendors at a craft fair pay $45 to rent a table for the day. Benjamin rents a table at the craft fair and sells 8-ounce jars of jam for $7.95 per jar. If it costs Benjamin $2.75 to make each container of jam, which of the following equations best models his profit P from one day at the craft fair if he sells N jars of jam? If we want to figure out the profit that Benjamin makes per jar, we can take the price and subtract from that the cost. This tells us that for every jar of jam that Benjamin sells, he earns a profit of $5.20. Now, there's an initial upfront cost, $45 to rent the table. And you only pay that once for the entire day. So P is going to be equal to $5.20, and we have to subtract that upfront cost of $45. C was the best answer. Number 4. John manufactures household furniture. His startup costs, including tools, plans, and advertising, total $5,000. Labor and materials for each piece of furniture total $350, and his production costs are the sum of his startup costs plus the cost of labor and materials. If John makes F pieces of furniture, what will his production costs see in dollars? So for each is the key word here. That tells us that the variable will be attached to 350. And which variable do we attach? The total production cost, C, or F, the pieces of furniture? Well, it's F, because it's $350 per piece of furniture. And we will add to this the $5,000, and that represents C, or the total production costs. So B was our best answer. Number 5. The number of problems assigned as homework by a savvy math professor is a function of the length of the class on a particular day, which is either 45 minutes, 90 minutes, or 135 minutes. He first multiplies the number of minutes by 4, and then divides that number by 9. Finally, he subtracts 12 from that amount. Which of the following functions best represents the number of math problems the professor assigns, depending on the length of class, T, in minutes? So we're going to take T, and we're going to multiply it by 4, and then we're going to divide by 9. So any of these that have T multiplied by 4/9 are good. The negative one is wrong, and this would have to distribute the 4/9 twice, so that one is wrong. And we are down to either A or D. And it says he subtracts 12 from that amount, so we're going to take this minus 12. D has a positive 12, that's why that one is wrong. A is our best answer. 6. Amani's grandmother's house is 5 miles west of her own house down Main Street. While at her grandmother's, Amani decides to ride her bike farther west down Main Street at 10 miles per hour. Which equation best describes the distance D in miles Amani is from home after T hours? We know to put the T next to 10 because of this phrase, per hour. Then we're going to add 5 to this, our initial distance, our one-time distance, and this tells us the total distance, 10t plus 5. You'll notice that in choice A, the order is reversed, but that's okay. It's the same thing. Number 7. Hiroto spends $68 on ebooks and paperback books combined. Each ebook he buys costs $5, and each paperback book he buys costs $12. If Hiroto buys X ebooks and Y paperback books, which of the following equations best models the situation? So, 5x plus 12y is equal to 68. Number 8. A construction company's fees include a flat daily charge to come to a worksite, in addition to a constant hourly rate. Any fractional hours are charged at that fraction of the hourly rate. Additionally, if a job takes less than 10 hours to complete, it is completed in one day. According to these rules, a 3.5-hour job would cost $250, and an 8-hour job would cost $475. If the construction company completes a job in one day, which of the following functions best models the cost C in dollars for an H-hour job? We can treat these like coordinates. 3.5, 250, and 8, 475. Then we can use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This gives us 475 minus 250 divided by 8 minus 3.5. If we subtract straight across, we get 225 divided by 4.5. If you simplify this, we get 50, which tells us that we're going to charge $50 as an hourly rate. So we can rule out A and D because they both charge, B and D because they both charge $60 an hour. Therefore, we need to figure out, is there a flat rate? Well, it tells us there is, so we could just stop and circle C. But to prove that, let's look at our 8-hour job. 8 hours times $50 per hour is equal to $400, and it costs $475. So we need that upfront cost of $75. That's why it's C. Number 9. From 2005 to 2013, the population of Belize has been increasing by approximately 7,500 people per year. The population of Belize in 2010 was 308,595. If T stands for years since 2005, which of the following functions best models the population P of Belize during this time period? Well, we know that the slope is going to be 7,500. It tells us per year. So we can look for which ones have T attached to 7,500. Well, all 4 of them. So then, we're going to try to plug in some numbers to get our initial population. So if T stands for years since 2005, and the population we're looking at is in 2010, how many years after 2005 is 2010? Well, it's 5 years after. So if we plug that into our equation, it looks like this. This is y is equal to mx plus b, and we know that our eventual y coordinate is 308,595. We know our slope is 7,500. We know this is for 5 years. So we can solve this for b. 7,500 times 5 is 37,500. When we subtract this from both sides, we get that our b value is 271,095. That's why A is correct. Number 10. A utility service company has a fleet of cars and trucks. The gas tank of each car has a volume of 16 gallons, and the gas tank of each truck has a volume of 30 gallons. If it takes 2,000 gallons of gas to fill the empty gas tanks of the entire fleet, which equation shows the possible number of cars, C, and number of trucks, T, in the fleet? So it's 16 per car, we can multiply them, 30 per truck, we can multiply those, and we know that our total is 2,000 gallons. So if we attach the correct variables to each number, we get B. 11. When Lucia plays golf at the Rolling Hills Golf Course, she loses about 12 balls on average. When she plays golf at the Meandering Meadows Golf Course, she loses about 8 balls on average. If Lucia lost approximately 100 balls after playing at Rolling Hills R times and Meandering Meadows M times, which of the following equations best represents the relationship between R and M? So 12 at Rolling Hills, so that's 12R, and 8 on average at Meandering Meadow, so that's 8M, and our total lost balls is 100. B. Number 12. For safety, each climber has 8 hooks when climbing the mountain. A large group of climbers climbs up a mountain and puts all their supplies in a heap in a cabin. One of the climbers wishes to know the number of climbers in the group, so he counts the number of hooks in the supply heap. If the climber counts H hooks, which of the following functions can be used to find the number of climbers C of H in the group? Well, without getting caught up in how to represent the equation, let's look at some practical numbers. If we found 16 hooks in a heap in the cabin, how many climbers were there? Each climber has 8, so we know there would be 2 climbers. So keeping that in mind, that the number of climbers, or C of H, is going to equal 2, and our hooks are going to equal 16, let's try plugging these into some of our equations. For A, does 2 equal 16 divided by 64? No. Does 2 equal 16 divided by 8? Yes. Does 2 equal 8 times 16? No. Does 2 equal 64 times 16? No. Sometimes it can be easier to navigate these by trying a test case.